Alright guys, Fula coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. If this video is appealing to you, go ahead and like it. And if you want to hear more appealing content, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So in this video, man, I kind of want to talk about this whole AJ Andrew Ruiz rematch basically occurring. And the way I look at it is that Andy Ruiz is Thanos, therefore he negotiates where he wants to fight, when he wants to fight, and under what stipulations he wants to fight. Eddie Hearn has no leg to stand on, but yet he's still trying to bulldoze his way into legs to stand on, when really he doesn't have that luxury. The reality is Anthony Joshua lost the fight, therefore he lost his negotiating stones, and therefore he needs to just be humble and accept and be thankful that he's even getting a rematch, okay? Be thankful that Andrew Ruiz is even agreeing to rematch him, you know? That's what he needs to be thankful for, okay? So with that being said, you know, they need to, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua need to wake up and smell the coffee, okay? Now, what is now occurring in this whole scenario is that there have been talks that the rematch is going to take place in Saudi Arabia. That's what they're talking about, that they're having the rematch in Saudi. Now, I don't like the idea of having it in Saudi. Okay? Let me tell you why. Number one, Saudi, I mean, their human rights suck very badly. I mean, they literally will cut off your head if they suspect you of being a witch, okay? You know, and that's just honestly backwards. It's like the most backwardest thing that I've ever heard of in my life. You know, you don't even have solid proof that someone may be a witch, but you sitting here cutting off people's heads. You know, not cool. Not feeling them at all. Number two, although you're in an air-conditioned stadium, what gym there is going to cater to media workouts, open media workouts over there? I'm sorry to say, but the number one sport in Saudi Arabia, and it's even on a low level, is soccer. They don't really have no boxing gym over there. You know, they don't really have, hell, they don't even really have any boxers over there. You know, so like, how are you gonna like want to have a fight over there? That makes no sense. And you know, Anthony Joshua, the sad thing is he just doesn't want to take his L and learn from his L. He says that the reason why he lost is Deontay Wilder fans and stuff like that. So what, the fans magically were in the ring with you and you didn't make the adjustments needed to get the job done? Is that what happened? So yeah, man. Honestly, I know Andrew Ruiz is a fighter. I know Andrew Ruiz is a warrior. But if I were him, I would straight up not even succumb to what they're trying to get you to succumb to. I would hold my ground solid and say, listen, I'm not going to negotiate fighting in Saudi Arabia. That it's I get to choose where I want to fight. You know, you guys don't get to choose the venue and stuff like that. That's what kind of stance that he has to take, man. Otherwise, he's just going to get pushed around, bulldozed into stipulations which will for sure favor Anthony Joshua, and then that he loses his belt. You know, that's how I feel about this whole thing, man. I don't like what they're doing. Like, you know, especially Eddie Hearn being as conniving as he is. You know, I'm sorry, but Eddie Hearn, you know, ever since this Dillian White situation, ever since this whole I want to say, ever since trying to make this fight, he's just been doing that, man. He's just been like, he's just basically been like showing more underhanded tactics than ever now. So yeah, man, don't succumb to him, man. That's my suggestion for Andrew Ruiz, is stand on his own too, and stand on those belts too, because I mean, the only Infinity Stone he's missing is the WBC, you know. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about this situation right now. Because out of all the places, you have it in Saudi Arabia. Okay? And this could be a political ploy too. Because what's happening in Saudi Arabia is, while they are still chopping people's heads off, while they still are not letting women drive, while they still don't let women leave unaccompanied by a chaperone, while they still have this barbaric thing called Wahhabism, they're still trying to, I guess you can say, add entertainment and add those type of factors into Saudi Arabia. I mean, they even had a how should I put it? They even had a like concert stars like decline going there. Like that, I think they tried to get Rihanna there. She said no. They tried to get Beyonce there. I believe she said no. Nicki Minaj, I don't think Nicki Minaj accepted. So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring attention to, you know, make it more appealing. I mean, I believe, you know, movies weren't even shown over there in Saudi Arabia. But the first movie they decided to show was the Black Panther, you know, after so many years, you know. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I know this sounds crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Hearn is in cahoots with, like, the handlers over there in Saudi Arabia and a lot of other people over there, in order to shift things to Anthony Joshua's favor. So if I were Andrew Ruiz, I wouldn't walk into that trap, you know. I would try to set my own trap to avoid falling into a pitfall that would cost him the belt, you know. Or I should say the belts. At the end of the day, he has the belts. At the end of the day, I think he has more fans now, since he's done this, came from obscurity and pulled this out. At the end of the day, I think that, you know, he needs to check Eddie Hearn and not try to and let Eddie Hearn realize that he's the numero uno, that they're not the numero uno no more, you know. And Eddie Hearn needs to stay in this place as well. But that's not going to happen. We already know what dude's about. But, you know, I didn't want to talk too long on this topic. And now that we say this, a new video just came out right now, saying that Eddie Hearn is defending Saudi Arabia. So this is what kind of person Eddie Hearn is. He's defending a place that obviously does human rights violations, multiple beheadings. Luckily, there were, 2 people avoided getting beheaded because, the Nigerian government got involved. And I'm happy they did get involved because they were going to behead a Nigerian sister. They accused her of drug trafficking, but she had nothing to do with it. So just imagine how many innocent people they behead who have nothing to do with it. Even, I don't want to get too political, but, Eddie Hearn is basically defending a place where, an African maid or a Filipino or a Malaysian maid will come work inside of a house, and they will work inside of a house, and they will get their passports taken away inside of that house, and they will be worked in conditions which mean that they don't get no sleep and they get very little to eat, and also they may be subject to sexual abuse. So when a maid kills their owner because of that, the maid ends up getting beheaded because all she was doing was trying to defend herself. So this is the type of thing that Eddie Hearn is defending. At the end of the day, Demetrius Boo Boo Andre, you're my guy. I'm team Boo Boo all day. But if I were you, I would get away from Eddie Hearn, man. And so far, I can say out of all the fighters, you've been kind of the most transparent. And you just deal with him on the business level and leave it at that. Yeah, and at this point in time, I understand. I can understand that, So on the business level, deal with him like that, but don't deal with him on a AJ, Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn level, because he's not a good character, But Fuller signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Njawama.